Alright guys, so in this section of the review, we're going to be combining everything we've learned about graph properties in one problem, just like you're going to see on your test tomorrow. Okay? So, I give you the equation, and I want you to answer all of these questions. And we've gone over all of these, and in this review, there are little videos that goes over each one of these individually if you would like to watch them. This one's going to go over all of them. I'm going to do 2 problems like you're going to see on your test and that you see on your review. Okay, but say you know how to do relative max, you know how to do relative mins, but your weakness is increase and decrease, then scroll up and you'll see a video on increasing and decreasing only. Okay? All right. So, first thing you have to do is we're going to have to just graph this in Desmos, okay? Because that's how we're going to get our graph, and we're going to analyze it from that, okay? So we go to Desmos, and I'm going to type this into Desmos. And I think I actually already have it in there. I do. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, it asks you for your relative maxes. So your maxes are going to be your humps. So if you look down here, that's a valley. I need humps. So I'm going to scroll up, and it looks like I got a hump right here. And all you do is copy that point down, and you put it in that box. Okay? So that is the only max that's here. Okay, all the other ones are mins. So I go back here. So I'm going to copy this down. So my relative max in coordinate form, please, is going to be 0.314 and then 66.553. And you're done with your maxes. Okay, now we're going to go to our mins. So we go back to the graph. Now I need to get the mins. Now I do have 2 mins here. Okay. So I have one min right here. That's negative 2, 0. So we'll go back and we'll write that one. So one min is negative 2, 0. The other min was all the way down here. And there it is. And that's your minimum value. So then we'll just copy that and put it in the chart. So our other min was 3.8186, negative 51.928. Okay? All right, next. Next is going to be where are you increasing or where you're increasing. We're just going to do the increasing, okay? So increasing is where you go up. Now remember, the left-hand arrow is negative infinity, right-hand arrow is positive infinity, okay? No matter where it's pointing. So I look at this graph and I start over here. Well, it looks like I'm decreasing, okay? So I'm decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. We're looking for increasing. But it looks like I start increasing at negative 2. So I'm going to start increasing at negative 2, and I go all the way up to, remember it's x values, to that. So I am increasing, okay, from negative 2 all the way to 0.314. We're only getting x values. All right, now let's see if I increase some more. So now I'm decreasing, okay? Decreasing, decreasing. I'm going to keep decreasing till I get here. And now I turn around and I start increasing from this point. So I'm going to start increasing from 3.186. And it looks like I'm going to keep increasing all the way to positive infinity. Okay? So then we'll come back to here. And I'm going to say that we are increasing from negative 2. I need to lessen the thickness of this pen. There we go. So increasing is from negative 2. And it's okay if there's decimals, okay, guys? 3.14. Then we use our union. And then we start increasing again at 3.186 to positive infinity. Okay? Next was intervals of increase or decrease, right? So decreasing. So we already said that we started off decreasing. So if you start off decreasing, that means you start decreasing at negative infinity. Okay? So I'm decreasing at negative infinity all the way to, let's see, where do I stop decreasing? I stop at negative 2. So I'm decreasing from negative infinity to negative 2. Then I increase, but it looks like I'm going to decrease right here on this line. So I start decreasing at that decimal point the 0.314, and I decrease all the way to that min down here. So I'm going to decrease all the way down to right there at 3.186. Okay? So let's go and write this on our chart that we have. Okay? So now we're doing decreasing. Okay? So it's going to be negative infinity to negative 2 union 0.314 to 3.186. Okay? Now, this is written a little bit different. See how it says f of x is greater than 0? Well, when it says f of x is greater than 0, so f of x is greater than 0, that means positive. I want to know, where is this graph positive? Okay? And then when I say f of x is less than 0, that means where is this graph negative? Okay? So remember, positive is above the x-axis and negative is below the x-axis. Okay? So, here we go. So where is this graph positive? Well, to be positive, we've got to be up here. So, remember, you start at negative infinity. It's always negative infinity on the first line, and it's positive infinity on the second line. Okay? So it looks like I am positive from negative infinity. I'm still positive, oh, still positive. I'm going to be still positive. I am positive all the way from negative infinity to 2. That's crazy. So negative infinity to 2, I am above the x-axis. Well, then at 2, I go below it, but then if you look over here on the right, I pop back above it at 4. So I get positive again from 4 all the way to positive infinity. Okay? So we go back to our thing, and that's what we're going to write where we're positive. We are positive from negative infinity to 2, union 4 to positive infinity. Okay? All right, the next one is going to be, where are you negative? Okay, so where am I negative? You will be negative below the graph. So if you look, there's only one leg that's below the graph, and that's right here. So I start being negative at 2, and then I'm still negative all the way down here, and then I'm going to pop back up. So from 2 to 4, I am negative. So from 2 to 4, I am negative. Okay? In behavior is that chart. The chart is on the review. Okay, so if you scroll, I put the chart here. Here's the chart. Okay? I would look at the degree and the leading coefficient on these to see what it is. Okay? So if you look, the degree, your degree are your tiny exponents added together. Okay, so these all have 1. So my degree here is 2 plus 1 plus 1, which is 4. So my degree is 4. Leading coefficient, so what's the leading sign? Is it positive or negative? Well, this one's positive. So it is an even degree and a positive. So it's even positive. So even positives right there. So this would be my end behavior. As x approaches positive, f of x is positive. As x approaches negative, f of x is positive. So that's what you would write. Okay? We're going to write, let's see. Here we go. So you would say, as x is negative, all I'm doing is copying that chart. F of x is also positive. And then as x is positive, f of x is also positive. Okay? And that's all you have to write. We've already said this, our degree. Your degree when in factored form. When in factored form. We've gone over factored versus standard. This is factored form. When you are in factored form, you add up the exponents. So my degree here is 4. Leading coefficient is positive. We already said that. Y-intercept, go to your graph. Find your y-intercept. Did I ask for the y-coordinate? No, I said y-intercept. So if I ask for y-intercept, that means I want the whole coordinate. So there it is. My y-intercept is 0, 64. Next, I want the zeros with the multiplicities. So the multiplicities, if it touches, it's a 2. If it crosses, it's 1. okay? So when I go back, look at the zeros. So I have a 0 at -2. It touches, so that's a multiplicity of 2. So x equals -2. Let's see. I'm trying to make it pretty for you guys. You know how I do. So when x equals -2, it has a multiplicity of 2 because it touches. Okay, that one touches. All right, the other one is, so your other two are 2 and 4, and it crosses, so that has a multiplicity of 1. So 2 and 4 have a multiplicity of 1. So x equals 2, x equals 1. They both have a multiplicity of 1 because they cross. Okay? And that's how you fill this chart out. And I'll screenshot this and put that in there also so you guys can see this. Some of y'all don't like watching the videos. You just like to see the work. And that's fine. Okay? All right. So now we're going to do another one. Okay? Here we go. All right. So the first one. So first we need to type this into Desmos. Okay, so let's first type this into Desmos. All right. Let's see. Let me make it a little bigger. Okay. All right. So let's type it into Desmos. Pull that back out. All right, so this one is going to be 2x to the 4th, 2x to the 4th, minus 3x cubed, and then minus 6x squared, plus 12x, plus 5. Okay? All right, so here's our graph. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So the first one asked about your relative maxes. So your maxes are where your humps are. Well, again, it looks like I only have one hump, so that's my max. And my max is going to be 0.872, 10.069. Don't round. Just write what you see, okay? Because I want you to be exact. Being a mathematician means you are exact, okay? So I only have one max, and it's going to be, 0.872, comma, 10.069. Okay? All right. The next one is going to be your mins. So my mins are right here. Okay? So I have a min at negative 1.191 and negative 871. And then I have another min up here. Let's undo the max. At 1.445, 9.48. Okay, so those are my mins. So I come and I write those. Okay, so my mins. So my min will be let's not do that. My min is -1. That's still 2. So my min will be negative 1.191 negative. I think that was 8.71, okay. 8.71, and then my other min was 1.445, 9.48. Okay? All right. Increase and decrease, it is where is the graph going up? Okay, so increase is where is this graph going up? Where is it increasing? Okay? So we go back, and if you look, I start off decreasing from negative infinity. And when I hit here is when I start increasing. So I start increasing at 1.191. And I keep increasing. If you look, I keep increasing all the way till I get to right here at 0.872. Okay, that's where I'm increasing. Then I decrease just a little bit. But then at the 1.445, I start increasing again. And remember, you end on positive infinity. Okay, so let's go and write that. So my intervals of increase are 1.191 to 0.872 union 1.445 to positive infinity. Okay, now let's go get those decrease. Okay, let's go get the decrease ones. So your decrease is where you're going down. So we said we started off decreasing, so I'm decreasing from negative infinity all the way to the negative 1.9. So I'm decreasing from negative infinity to negative 1.191. This was increasing, but then when I get to the 0.872, I start decreasing again just a little bit, and I go down just from that one to the 1.445. And those are all my decreasing. So I come back, and I'm going to write that. So I decrease from negative infinity to negative 1.9, or 191, sorry. Union, and then I start decreasing again at 8.872, 1.445. Okay? Now remember, okay, we said that when f of x is greater than 0, that means you're positive. Okay? And when f of x is less than 0, you're negative. Okay? So I want to know where this graph is positive. Okay, that's the first one, is where is this graph positive. So we go back to the graph, and I'm positive above the x-axis. So again, I'm positive from negative infinity all the way to there. So I'm positive from negative infinity to negative 1.737. But then I go negative right here in this little hoop right here. But then when I hit that number, I'm positive again. Okay, and I'm positive the entire time leading up to positive infinity. Okay, so let's go write that. So I am positive from negative infinity to negative 1.737 union negative 0.365 to positive infinity. Okay, now where is the graph negative at? So where is the graph negative at? We're going to go back to the graph, and it's negative right here. That's it, this little hoop right here. Okay, follow my cursor. All right, so I'm negative from that decimal right there, the negative 1.737. Let's unclick some stuff. To the negative 0.365. Okay, so let's go write that. So I'm negative from negative 1.737 all the way to negative 0.365. In behavior, okay, this one is in standard form, so this determines my end behavior. And again, I didn't mean to do this, but I'm even positive. You got an even degree and your coefficient's positive. So it's going to be the same end behavior as the one above. Okay, but all you have to do is use that chart. Okay, so this would say x is positive or x is negative. So when my x's are negative, my y's are still positive. And when my x's are positive, my y's are also still positive. Okay? All right, the degree in standard form, it's the highest exponent, which is 4. My leading coefficient is positive. Y-intercept, you can graph this, and when we go to the graph, my y-intercept is right there at 0.5. Now we got to get the zeros with the multiplicities. Now, these are decimal zeros, and that's fine. So there's only 2 zeros here, okay? And they both are crossing, so they both have a multiplicity of 1, okay? So when you cross, we got that multiplicity of 1 in this classroom. All right, so we go back here. Uh-oh, I lost my colors. You know it's going to irk me when I screenshot this, so let's go back. This is going to be 4, positive, 0.5. And the last color is that purple. Okay. All right, so here my zeros were x equals negative 1.737 with a multiplicity of 1. And then x equals negative 0.365 with a multiplicity of 1 because they both cross. Okay? And so that's how you're going to do your problems on your review and how you're going to do your problems on your test. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. There's individual videos, and then there's this big video. Okay, guys?